This week on Hermitcraft, the Wither is dead, the dragon is also dead, and everybody is on shrooms. Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. It's the first week of Season 5, and seeing how last week's Day 1 recap is now the most viewed video on this channel, we thought it might be best if we introduce ourselves to our new viewers. So hello, my name is Pixel Riffs. I am usually the voice of the Hermitcraft Recap.
And I'm XP, also known as the guy who writes this stuff and stitches the clips together. When we're not busy recapping Hermitcraft, we also record our own videos for our own YouTube channels, links to which you can find in the description below. Okay, I'll go back to my basement now.
And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. The very first week since the reset, where everyone is just starting out and Iskall kills a Wither. That's right, it took him around 10 hours to gather the skulls, he didn't know how to do the bedrock trick, and he got chased across the nether by the thing, and still, Iskall got his nether star without dying once.
I got this star! Yeah, baby!
Before Iskall has a chance to feel too superior though, Cubfan, False, Wells Knight, iJevin and TFC decided to top that with a dragon fight, and needless to say, 5 hermits plus 1 space lizard equals many experience orbs and an elytra. The hermits continued their crusade deeper into the end to stock up on elytras and shulker corpses. The boss punching party didn't end there though, because Impulse SV took on his ocean monument and single-handedly conquered it. At this point, if you're a boss mob, you'd better stay away from the server. You also might want to think twice about your roofed forest estate, as there is a certain axe murderer running around killing residents of woodland mansions. Returning after his Season 4 hiatus, XB Crafted has apparently decided to punish illagers for not being prismarine slabs and stairs. And testificates too while he's at it, because his presence just causes a zombie apocalypse in a local village. On top of now having his own mansion, XB hooks up a spawner-based mob grinder and for the time being decides not to interfere with the politics of the community area.
But I wanted to just take a look around and plan out something, just have a plan, basically.
The Wither massacre continues as the hermits now have access to a makeshift Wither skeleton farm made apparently off camera. Azuma cheeses a Wither boss to show Iskall how it's actually done, Wells Knight fights another one off in the undergrounds, and Cubfan wrecks a third for our enjoyment. We'll let you guess which one of them died in the process. Another big return is Zombie Cleo, keeping her promises on Twitter and logging in a bit later than everyone else. Leaving her rotten bits alone under the sun might not have been the best idea though, as after heading to a desert location she chose as her base place, Cleo finds a player head in a desert temple and raises a miniature shrine for it. Heatstroke or extreme loneliness? You decide. Just mark my words, by episode 10 she'll be drifting away from it while desperately screaming, "Wilson!"
All hail.
On the other side of the server, Tango Tech might have also had something in the swamp water he's been drinking, because this week he starts talking to villagers. The strangest part of that is he thinks they actually reply.
Okay, you get to die. How about that?
Why are you doing this?
Because you're useless to me.
This might also be him overworking himself, because at the end of this week he now has a villager breeder, a villager sorter, and a fully functional 5-spawner mob grinder ready for exploitation. To help him out, any hermit can now donate their leftover netherrack to his cause in the Tango's Lack of Rack donation shack. Without your help, Tango is rack-a-lacking. What's perhaps most impressive is that Tango's Pentaspawner is not a server first. After getting mobbed by, well, mobs, PythonGB discovered a cluster of spider and zombie spawners ripe for the farming. After cranking out a couple of designs in creative and getting help from Cubfan when the zombies were a bit too much to handle, Python now has a fully functional 5-spawner setup to build his base around.
Yeah, I can literally just stand anywhere within this place and everybody will spawn in all spawners and all will be good to go, guys. So
elsewhere, TFC is hard at work on a giant base perimeter, setting up a bayside fishing shack to house his AFK fish farm, and tweaking the settings of a microphone sent his way by Wells Knight. And the more we can hear of that golden voice, the better. Despite the controversy around them earlier, AFK fish farms might soon be a thing of the past, because the new hotness on the server is apparently mushroom islands and villager breeders. In the spirit of Wrenskull Island shenanigans, Azuma and False start building on neighbouring mushroom islands. However, False might regret that decision later, seeing as how Azuma already has a whole villager breeder up and running, as well as a private network of nether portals around the area. He even has an end portal nearby. I'm beginning to worry his redstone foo is so OP that it risks lagging her out. Just give him a couple more farms. Then again, False tolerated Mumbo's base next to hers last season, so all things considered, it might be an upgrade.
Here's my next trick. We might be... Hey, that's not a very good trick. Let's place 2 blocks there.
On a side note, it's hard not to notice that a nether portal network and a private mini nether hub is something Azuma had back on Hermitcraft Season 1. So there's a throwback for you. In turn, False jumps into terraforming mode and starts stripping her islands of mycelium, replacing it all with grass and essentially repainting the place in her favourite colour. All the passing ships will easily recognise the place by a giant tower rising out of the vibrant greenery.
Is actually all going to be ocean. It's not going to be actual Mushroom Island, which is very, very sad.
And don't worry, there's plenty of mycelium left over at Cubfan's base. His island is not even on the original base maps, and following the trend, Cub has a whole villager sorta of his own. We can't really blame him, they're basically just 3D printing him diamond tools at this point. Iskall and Rendog, meanwhile, just split their island in 2, physically dividing it because they couldn't agree on the colour for the concrete they wanted it to be covered with. They're calling this style Plastic Fantastic, and for now it comes in 2 colours, green for Iskallium and orange for Orendogage, I suppose. We still don't see our ketchup chugging, by the way, but that's almost for the best, as instead the dynamic duo have decided to play out a dozen challenges and do all the punishments and dares at once, in a live stream from the house they're renting for the upcoming DreamHack convention. The loser of the latest challenge has to drink sriracha sauce. How many sauce bottles are they planning on bringing to DreamHack? Are they opening a hot dog stand? In the meantime, Iskall now has a quad farm with spiders in it, and Ren built a cow cooker and a mega storage area.
I can't figure out whether our storage facility looks like a Christmas present or a computer component. It's unclear at the moment.
Quad spawners aren't such a rare commodity on the server, it seems. Stress Monster has one too way out at her swampland. This week, Stress takes her time to terraform the swamp with pathways and starts building a dark oak shack that Illagers sure would be proud of.
I can't believe this works, everyone!
Between all the mushroom islands and swamps, getting around by boat has proven popular, and Biffa is no exception to this, having chosen a village on a river for his base of operations. After declaring himself the Llama King and spooking himself with a Herobrine head, he lays out plans for connecting the local landscape using waterways. Joe Hills puts his own spin on seafaring society by settling down in a bay, which he names Red Sky Bay, in tribute to the Sea Cow Bay sign from last season's art museum. It was almost named Lol What Bay in his attempt to find 3-letter words. Guys, we were so close. Meanwhile, Impulse, having cleared out his ocean monument, decides he's so done with water that he's starting the city of Atlantis several dozen blocks above sea level. He had to leave room for that iron farm though. It's less of an Iron Titan and more of a bumblebee, buzzing with villager noises and decorated in black and yellow. Jevin settles away from civilization, builds some basic farms for wheat, meat and something to eat, and blows up a cozy cave for himself, just to be a true hermit. Digging is overrated anyway. There are more good times with Scar and his giant plans for the cliff he occupies.
And my idea for this particular season is to create an absolutely beautiful city of the future. So we're thinking very modern and a little bit sci-fi.
Guys, I'm not sure he knows that we can't hear him from here. For the time being though, Scar settles on a hobbit hole that some zombies end up really liking. Liking so much, in fact, that they try to throw him out of there despite his spawn point being inside. Once the property dispute is over with, Scar digs out a minecart track leading all the way to the bedrock levels for more enjoyable strip mining, and because stairways are for losers. His amazing building skills are still no match for Mumbo Jumbo and his super advanced dirt hut, probably the only house in keeping with the start of the series idea. All those collabs with Grian are apparently paying off. His amazing redstonery for the week is a spawner grinder, since it's always good to have one nearby, a super smelter for smelting glass he wants to sell, and some villagers he nicks from their rightful houses with some help from Biffa. His dreams of selling glass will have to wait though, as right after setting up the shop, Mumbo remembers that the hermits aren't supposed to make shops that sell items this season. Thankfully, Wells Knight swiftly redecorates the building into the Church of Spoon, which is a non-commercial organisation and therefore should be exempt from the rules and taxes.
I guess this is the first spoon moment of Hermitcraft Season 5.
Wells' own idea for a base this season is surprisingly in tune with his Minecraft character. For every knight needs a castle, and darn it, a castle he shall have. A really impressive one, rivaling Mumbo's addiction to stone bricks. In between digging stone, Wells finds time to raise an Enderman grinder for the season, which everyone seems to consider a necessary safety hazard with its lack of railings on the sides.
We need to do this very, very carefully. Let's do a little fly around. Nope, not gonna make that.
Known for his hospitality and kindness, Zedaf conquers a skeleton spawner and hooks it up so its resident will be Zed's guards at the entrance of his base. Some more firepower seems needed, but the baseline is there.
You know it! Stay back and never come here again!
That's the best defense system ever!
The cave itself gets a much needed expansion via explosion and is transformed into a beautiful crystal cave with the power of coloured glass. Meanwhile, in a more peaceful corner of the server, the new Hermit Order emerge from their trip through the Nether and reach the area they plan to call home, a massive jungle biome, after a brief detour to a pit that Etho is excited about for some reason. Before long, B-Dubs is connecting rivers and making picturesque trails, Vintage Beef is building a designer hobbit hole, and Etho is throwing his diamonds into lava. Just like old times. As for Doc, he's just hoping 1.12 parrots are as useful as the chickens in Foolcraft.
That's my pants! I found my pants, man. And my sword. Yeah, guys, so basically the plan for today is... Come on.
And that is just about it for this week's recap. Well, it was more of a podcast actually, because the number of Hermit videos this week has been pretty freaking incredible. It's great to see everyone get hyped for Season 5, and we hope you'll leave us some of that love down in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like while you're there, share this video with the Hermitcraft fans in your life, and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes of the Hermitcraft Recap. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.